Hey everybody, Greg Park here, and I want to talk to you about a great resource I found for musicians called the Insider Circle. This is put together by John Oszajca. You may know of him from Music Marketing Manifesto, which is another great program I strongly suggest you check out. The Insider Circle is basically a forum on the internet composed of musicians and people in the music industry. Right now there's about 360 members of the forum, and it's growing every day. Basically, if you have any questions at all about the music industry, you can put your questions on the forum and you're going to get some pretty decent answers. There's several different categories that you can break your questions out into. One of them is just a general discussion. Almost anything that you want to talk about music related, you can put a question there and you get some answers. Another one is broken down into traffic generation. If you have a website out there, it doesn't do you much good unless people actually are able to get to your website and find it. A lot of good questions there and responses about how to get traffic to your website. There's a whole section on case studies, things that people have done in the music industry, what's worked for them, what hasn't. Website design. I went through this one a few months back when I redid my website. I worked really hard trying to get a good website put together, and not being a website designer, I had all kinds of questions. Well, we're fortunate we have a guy named Scott James in the forum. He owns a company called Websites for Rockstars. And normally, you have to pay some pretty good bucks to get Scott to fix your website. He gave me tons of advice, and for free, because I was a member of the forum. Also, Steve Rogers, he's an author of a program called Jam Room for Musicians, or Jam Room Manifesto. It's about keeping your band together. He gave me tons of advice when I was working on my website. There's also questions you can ask about the monthly training sessions, which I'll cover here again in a little bit later. Networking. If you have projects you want to work on with other musicians, you can put your offer up there and maybe get some other musicians to help you out with the project. Music licensing, a really big one. Getting your music into commercials, television, movies. A lot of information there on how to get that done. If you're touring, you say you want to put together a tour, or you have some questions about live events, you can ask questions there, and people who have already done it can tell you what their experiences were and answer your questions. Sharing your music. If you have new music out there, you want to give it kind of a test run before you commit it to a CD, you can put your music up there and other musicians can listen to it, give you honest critique on what they liked, what they didn't like. Very valuable resource there. Also, besides just a question and answer section, there's monthly training that John puts together for us. Covers some very important topics in the music industry today. One of them, like getting press, membership sites, limited time offers, how to put those together. There's a very in-depth training session on search engine optimization, which is extremely important. Like I mentioned before, if your website is not getting traffic, what's the point of even having it? Just putting your name out there like joeblowmusic.com is not going to get people to your site. You have to have it optimized in the search engines. There's a lot of information there that will teach you how to do that. Facebook advertising. Facebook is a great one now. A lot of people using that to advertise their CDs or just get people to their website. It's not very confusing for me to get that done. There's a training section there on how to work Facebook advertising. Music business and the law, that's a pretty important one. And a really major one is list building. If you don't have a list of people to promote your site to, sell your CDs to, you're lost. There's very good information there. I had a list that I'd been working on for about 10 years, and it did okay, nothing spectacular. But when I joined the Insider Circle and Music Marketing Manifesto, I decided to try building a new list. I used the new methods that John laid out, and I also asked a lot of questions on the Insider Circle and started a new list. Within a few months, my new list was bigger than my previous list I'd worked on for 10 years. And my new list is also very active. People that are on my list now actually respond. I had no idea of knowing who's responding before because my list was just too old and wasn't doing much for me. There's also monthly coaching calls. If you have a lot of people in the forum asking similar type questions, John will do some in-depth research and put together a monthly coaching call that you can listen to at your leisure, whenever it's convenient for you to listen to. There's also interviews. Some of the past interviews we've had recently were with, like Dave Darling. He's a producer. He's worked with Tom Waits and Brian Setzer. He recently had an interview with Siri Garber. She's president of Platform Public Relations. Other people like Joe Paginelli, Christina Kelly, some pretty heavy hitters in the music industry. There's also a library in the forum. If you haven't taken Music Marketing Manifesto yet, there's a section in there on kind of bringing you up to speed on the finer points of Music Marketing Manifesto, which will help you get more out of the insider circle. Also, there's a whole section there on getting signed in the new music business. We all know the music industry has changed tremendously in the past 10, 15 years. Even the past couple years it's changed a lot. John kind of helps keep you up to date on some of the changes. Anyway, the Insider Circle, that was the Music Marketing Manifesto. The Insider Circle is really a great resource. The cost is extremely reasonable. Go out and sell a couple CDs a month. You're gonna cover the cost of Insider Circle, and what you get back out of it is invaluable. Like I say, I've been with it for about 7 or 8 months. I use it several times a week, if not every day. It's just a great resource. I highly recommend it. Insider Circle by John Oszajca. Check it out, guys.